Good evening. I'd like to start the meeting. Please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Please be seated. Welcome everyone. Township of Albridge Zoning Board of Adjustment, April 16, 2026. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Albridge Township Zoning Board of Adjustment has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act at least 48 hours prior to the commencement of this meeting by primarily posting in the municipal complex an announcement giving the time, the date, the location, and the agenda of this meeting. Also by mailing such announcement to the Home News and Tribune, filing a copy of such announcement with the municipal clerk, and posting the agenda on the municipal website. May we have a roll call, please, Ms. Porcelli?
Certainly. Mrs. Andrews?
Present.
Mrs. Gomez?
Here.
Mr. Izzo?
Here.
Mr. Scogno? Absent. Ms. Spinelli?
Here.
Ms. Testaverde? Absent. Mr. Singh?
Here.
Ms. Fernbach? Here. Chairman Sullivan?
Here.
Mr. Macklin?
Here.
Ms. Savant? Mr. Dargy?
Present.
Okay.
Thank you. There's a couple housekeeping issues. First, this meeting is being televised on CATV 15 right here in the township. Simultaneously, it is being sent out over YouTube Live. If you'd ever want to see it for some reason, you can look it up on YouTube. The meeting will, tonight, as our rules allow, until 10 o'clock on testimony. We save the last half hour for public comments, and of course, we would end a hard stop at 10:30 p.m. I don't think that tonight we're going to be going that long, but should we reach that hour, we're going to have to shut down. I would ask any witnesses, these are directional microphones, so you're going to have to speak pretty close to them and right into them. Otherwise, yeah, if you push the button, they go green, and then they're live. There we go. I have a couple other matters to take care of, and then we'll move on to the applications. First one, board, is the minutes of March 19, 2026 meeting. Hopefully, everyone had a chance to review them. Absent any comments for additions or deletions, I'd ask someone to move them for adoption.
Izzo?
Is there a second? Roll call, please.
Second was Ms. Spinelli, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Andrews?
Yes.
Ms. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Izzo?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Singh? Ms. Fernbach? Yes. Chairman Sullivan?
Yes. We have three resolutions. We'll take them individually. 51-2025Z, it's Prabhat Krishna. It was a C variance. Mr. Macklin,
I do not have a copy of that.
let me give you mine. Yeah, you can have all three.
Thank you, sir. All right. This was variance approval for Block 7120, Lot 1, also known as 26 Delilah Lane in Old Bridge, New Jersey. This is approval of C variance. This was to install a 6-foot fence where 4 foot was permitted. And that's Resolution 51-2025Z.
Thank you, Counselor. Board members, someone want to move that?
Izzo?
Is there a
Second.
Second, Ms. Spinelli? Roll call, please.
Ms. Andrews?
Yes.
Ms. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Izzo?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Singh?
Yes.
Ms. Fernbach?
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan?
Yes. 57-2025Z, Arlene Segworth. It was multiple C variances. Counselor?
Thank you, Chairman. This was Block 10252, Lot 7.21, also known as 61 Partridge Road, Matawan, New Jersey. This was approval of bulk variance relief. This was a 2-story detached barn that had previously been damaged in a fire. This was for building size, approved for 924 square feet, where 600 is permitted. The building height, 22 feet, 3 inches, was proposed, where 15 is permitted. And the stories were 2, where 1.5 is permitted.
Thank you, Mr. Macklin. Board members, does someone want to move that for adoption, please?
Gomez.
Is there a second?
Izzo?
Roll call, please.
Ms. Andrews?
Yes.
Ms. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Izzo?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Singh?
Yes.
Ms. Fernbach?
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan?
Yes. Finally, Counselor, 59-2025Z, David Lynch, multiple C variance.
Thank you again, Chairman. This was 11257, Lot 7, also known as 4256 Highway 516. This was for bulk variance approval for a pole barn. This was side yard height and size. The size of the building was proposed 968 square feet, where 600 is permitted. Side yard setback is 5 feet, where 10 feet is required. And the building height is 20 feet 4 inches, and where 15 feet is permitted.
Thank you, sir. Once again, someone will move that for adoption.
Gomez.
Second, please. Izzo. Roll call, please.
Ms. Andrews?
Yes.
Ms. Gomez?
I'm sorry. Yes.
Mr. Izzo?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Singh?
Yes.
Ms. Fernbach?
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan?
Yes, we move on to the next item on its swearing of the professionals. If you're looking at the dais, to my left are two individuals on the end, Mr. Darji, who is a professional engineer, and next to him is Ms. Sawant, who is a professional planner. Thank you. We'll continue on. For those here in the audience this evening, we only have two applications. I'm going to call the one that's going to be adjourned first. It's 31-2025Z. It's Ravish Patel. That's in the R7 zone, block 2000.23 lot 4, seeking C and D variance. That matter is adjourned to May 21st. There will be further notice on that. I think there was a problem with the notification, as I'm told. So if you're here on that matter tonight, it's not going to be heard. It will be on the agenda May 21. That brings us to our only two applications. We're going to take them out of order tonight, and there's a reason for that, because the one we're going to take second probably has more testimony to put on the record, so they'll have more time. So we're going to move, if you have the agenda, it's the last one on the agenda. It's 35-2025Z, Colleen Flynn, that's an R30 zone, low-density residential. This is seeking D variance. Applicant proposes to rebuild the second floor with the addition of a new master bedroom, increasing floor area ratio to 26.56, 3,453.25 square foot, where maximum is 21%, or 2730 square foot is permitted. Mr. Thomas Barlow representing, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members, township professional staff. As indicated, my name's Thomas Barlow. I'm an attorney with Lombardi & Lombardi in Edison, New Jersey. I'm here on behalf of the homeowners on this application. As an initial matter, I just want to confirm with the board secretary the notices are in order and we're ready to proceed.
Yes.
Thank you. This application is the result of a fire that happened on Christmas Day 2024. As a result, the house needed to be rebuilt, and while going through the process, the homeowners decided to increase the living space by essentially building an addition over the garage area. This portion will enhance the functionality of the home. As you will hear, this has triggered a floor area ratio variance known as a D4 variance. The lot is 13,139 square feet. The total proposed floor area with the 854 square foot addition is 3,283 square feet. And this, I realize what's in the agenda, but the floor area ratio we're actually seeking is 24.99%, so a little bit less than what was indicated, where 21% is allowed. There's also a pre-existing front yard setback that is remaining, so those are the two variances that are being sought. As you will hear, there's no change to the footprint of the house. There's no increase in the number of bedrooms. So I think it's a rather unique FAR variance in that it's not a situation where a smaller house is being knocked down and a big mansion is going up to take its place. I have three witnesses I plan on calling tonight: the property owner, our architect, Dan Fortunato, and our engineer and planner, Ernie Feist. Unless the board has any preliminary questions, I'd call my first witness, the
I
property owner.
just hope no one was injured in the fire.
Thank God.
No, they were not.
Very good. Please call your first witness.
Ms. Flynn?
Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you very much. And would you state your full name and spell your last, please?
Colleen Flynn, Flynn.
Thank you. Ms. Flynn, you're the property owner,
I am,
correct?
I am.
And you understand that based on the requested construction to the house, it requires a FAR variance, correct?
I understand.
Can you explain to the board what happened and why we're here?
Well, first, I'd like to thank the board for hearing our application to increase the floor area ratio. I'm a lifelong resident of Old Bridge, going on 62 years this year. And I've been in this house for 32 years, and I raised my family there. So based on my experience, I think I know the character and the sense of community of our town and of my neighborhood. Over the years, I've observed similar additions going up in various houses in my neighborhood. I believe there were about 31 houses in my neighborhood, which has just a little over 100 houses in it, that have very similar additions. And I always found that their enhancements blend well with the community, and they contribute positively to the area, both visually and in increasing the property values for everyone. Seeing so many neighbors put these additions up, I always wanted to do something like that. And on December 25th of 2024, we were our hands were forced because our home was destroyed in a fire. And I don't know if anyone has ever been through that type of experience, but it was extremely traumatic and devastating for our family. And we lost a lot of material goods, but thank goodness no one was hurt. And the experience epitomized what we all know, in that it's the people in our lives who matter and not material things. And some of the people who matter to me are my neighbors. I've been there for so long. I have a lot of close people that I'm close to in the neighborhood, and they've been very wonderful and supportive throughout this whole traumatic experience. And part of the reason we wanted to stay where we were and rebuild was because of my neighbors. We also have my parents living close by, and my daughter with her young family live close by. And we wanted to stay close so that we could be available for our extended family when they need us. So always trying to look at the bright side of every situation. I thought one of the positives following the fire is we could build back better. And we had a unique opportunity to rebuild and modify the interior layout of our home. And as Tom indicated, we're not changing the footprint of the house, which I think is important to try to be consistent in the neighborhood, and we are not changing the number of bedrooms. There's just a shifting around of the interior layout. I believe that the changes that we propose remain consistent with the scale and character of my neighborhood. The requested variance to increase the floor area ratio is essential to allow for meaningful but modest renovations inside. One of our goals is to create a larger master and primary bathroom that will be more functional and accessible, because we do hope to age in place in our home. And so the plan will improve the accessibility and the functionality and safety for the master suite. The larger primary closet is necessary because we need storage. If you know Country Place at all, there are no basements in our town. In our neighborhood, the water table is too high, and we have very limited storage. So having the larger closet, which is not necessarily livable space, will enable us to store all the Christmas goods that did survive the fire and those that we've repurchased. We respectfully submit that the requested variance will not alter the essential character of our neighborhood, nor will it create any adverse impacts. The structural appearance of the house as it stands today will not change from its current form on the outside, because the town did permit us to begin construction with an altered roof line, and the only change resulting from the variance would enable us to rebuild on the inside, which doesn't impact anyone. This variance will allow us to rebuild responsibly, to improve the livability of our home, and to continue to contribute positively to the community that we so value. I thank you for your time and consideration tonight.
I don't have any additional questions for Ms. Flynn.
I'm sorry I talk a lot.
No, the best type of witness is you just hand it to them and let them go. So I don't, if the board has any questions for Ms. Flynn.
Just mention, as an aside, when we read the resolutions before, when the board last met, someone came before us from a fire over on Cottrell? No, John Partridge. That they lost the structure in the same way. And all they wanted to do was stay here in Old Bridge and rebuild. So, kudos to you. Continue, sir.
If the board has any questions of Ms.
Well, I'll go to, of this witness, Mr. Dargy.
I have nothing to
And Ms. Sawant?
No, I
I'll start on my left. None? Coming down the line? None? Counselor?
None.
Ms. Sandy? Mr. Barlow, back to you.
Then my next witness would be Dan Fortunato.
Thank you.
A licensed professional architect. I'd ask that Mr. Fortunato be sworn in.
Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but, so help you God? Please state your full name and spell your last name.
Daniel Fortunato, Fortunato.
If I may proceed, Mr. Sullivan? Go right ahead. Thank you. Mr. Fortunato, if you could give the board the benefit of your educational and professional background?
I have a bachelor's in industrial design degree from Ohio State, graduated in 1983, and I have a bachelor's in architecture degree from Drexel University, graduated in 1993. I have licenses in 4 states, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and Ohio, and practicing over 30 years.
And I thank you for doing that for not only those in the courtroom who may not know how the procedures work and who the professionals are, but also those watching at home. So we appreciate that. Continue. We accept his expertise.
Oh, thank you. Did you prepare the architectural plans in this matter?
Yes, I did.
And you also prepared the 3-page exhibit, which I believe the board has, which has been marked as A1?
A1 being,
Yes.
Yes, I did prepare that.
Okay. Can you go over the proposal with the board and what is proposed to be done?
When we were first hired to do this project, of course, the damage to the from the fire was pretty extensive, mainly on the second floor, but what we had to do is essentially rebuild the whole house. The first floor was rebuilt pretty much in kind with some minor adjustments to the first floor bathroom, lavatory area, but the code compliant, we had to bring the whole house pretty much up to code. There were quite a few things that we had to adjust on that. Second floor was a lot more involved. We had to really replace the whole second floor due to the fire, and we replaced the arrangement of the rooms. It was always has been a 4-bedroom home. One major change that we did make was that we opened up the vestibule, the first floor. So the 4th bedroom was moved to where we are today with over the garage. So it's still a 4-bedroom house. We just improved the aesthetics of the interior, opened up for a 2-story vestibule, and opened up the whole area, the stairwell, and just improved the aesthetics on the inside. As was mentioned earlier, we just stayed within inside the 4 walls of the house. We didn't expand any further, just went basically up over the garage area.
So just to be clear, there's been no change to the house's footprint, correct?
That's correct.
And there's been no increase to the number of bedrooms for the house?
That's correct. There's 4.
Okay. And there is a pre-existing front yard setback. That's not being in any way changed or increased as a result of your proposal?
We're not increasing. We're not coming any closer than the current house is today.
Okay. And then did you perform the calculations with regards to the increase in the floor area because of the addition over the garage?
Yes, I did.
And could you give the board the benefit of that calculation?
We calculate the existing conditions of the house, and I'll just run through some numbers here essentially, but I'll just round it up. It's an 18.4% existing today, as well as before we started the construction of the house. With the addition, it puts us at 6.5%, which is where we arrive at the 24.99 FAR.
Okay, and that's set forth in the bulk table, which is page 3 of A1, correct?
It's also presented on the drawing V1.
Okay. So just to be clear, the lot area also is 13,139 square feet, and the proposed floor area now is 3,283, correct?
That's correct, yes.
There was some confusion, I think, originally if the lot area was 13,000 or 13,139, but you've confirmed that it's 13,139.
We were working off of 2 site surveys. When we first started this project, it was an older survey. Since that time, the owner has engaged in a new survey, and that's the one you see here today.
Okay, and the floor area ratio being sought is 24.99%, correct?
That's correct.
Mr. Chairman, unless the board has any questions, I don't have any additional questions for Mr. Fortunato.
Thank you. Mr. Darcy?
I don't have anything for this witness, Mr. Chairman.
Sawant?
I don't have any questions, just as for records, we generally round up. So when, should the board act favorably on the variance, then the FAR should be 0.25 because 0.2499 would round up to 20.
We'll take the extra .01 and go get it. Just wanted to be accurate. It was math.
So,
No charge for the error.
Thank you.
so, but other than that, I don't have any questions.
All right. I'm going to start on my left, going down to the MS Mr. Singh. No questions. Ms. Gomez, Ms. Spinelli, Mr. Rizzo.
No questions.
Ms. Andrews? Counselor? Nothing. Well, it was rather succinct. I mean, you're saying there's no change in the footprint whatsoever. The only change is over the addition, over the top of the garage, where the same amount of bedrooms are going to be, just one larger in the closet, correct?
100%.
I understand it then. You want to go to your final witness?
Certainly. Thank you. I will call Ernie Feist as our engineer and planner.
And of course, all of them are going to be available for when I go to a public portion.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I won't let him leave.
We gave you an extra point.
Yeah.
Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but so help you God?
I do.
Would you state your full name and spell your last, please?
Ernest W. Feist, Feist.
May I proceed?
Sure, go right ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Feist, can you give the board the benefit of your credentials in both engineering and planning?
Sure. I hold a bachelor's in science degree from, a bachelor's in engineering degree from Stevens Institute of Technology. Been a licensed engineer for about 30 years, licensed professional planner for nearly the same period of time. I'm the majority shareholder and president of Center State Engineering. Been doing that for about 30 years as well. We represent a wide variety of towns, both as
Thank you
planners.
again. As I said before, for those watching at home, it makes it a little easier for them to understand the procedure. And obviously, we'll accept your expertise.
Thank you.
Both planning and engineering, sir?
He's going to wear two hats tonight, right?
Yes, he is.
Okay. Just let me know which hat he has on when he's going to talk.
Certainly.
We'll start with the PE.
I don't think we have.
You're going to be the PP.
I think we're going to do planning.
PP, just in case.
Just
there's
in
a
case.
question.
Just in case.
He's-
Okay.
Mr.
Professional planner for those watching at home.
Mr. Feist, you've heard the testimony of the prior witnesses, and you're also relying on their testimony, along with your inspection of the area and also your knowledge of the area.
That's correct.
And you've prepared two exhibits tonight, A2, which one has been marked as A2. It's 5 pages depicting certain houses in the neighborhood, and also A3, which is kind of an overview showing the location of the house in question, correct?
Correct. I prepared those.
Okay. Can you give us an overview of the project and the two variances that are needed?
Sure. Referring to A2 and A3, the Exhibit A2 is several pages of homes that have undergone similar expansions throughout Country Place. I believe there are 18, as well as the subject property on the first page that shows it in its current state. And as previously testified by the architect, the exterior will remain the same. The improvements are completely within the interior. Exhibit A3 is an aerial photograph. It was taken and shows the home before the fire. And the purpose of that is to show that the subject property, the neighbor to the right is open public space owned by the municipality of Old Bridge. To the left and offset is a neighbor, and it's offset so it does not directly face the subject property due to the curve in the road. And across the street, there are no neighbors facing. There are side yards for homes located on a street that's perpendicular to the subject property. I won't repeat the details that the architect already gave us. I would point out that the lot is irregularly shaped. It is a pie-shaped lot. It is 13,139 square feet. The applicant is seeking a D4 variance this evening. As previously stated, the ordinance permits a FAR of 0.21. We are seeking a FAR of 0.25 rounded up. I'll also indicate that we've made every effort to minimize the variances and work within the development standards. The additional floor area will be contained, as previously testified, within the existing footprint and building envelope. and there are no new bulk variances requested. We respect all the setbacks.
There is the pre-existing front yard setback, and we're not increasing that in any way. We're just asking it remain the same, correct?
That is correct.
And A2, which was prepared by your office, shows essentially 17 other homes in the development that all put additions to one degree or another over the garage as the applicant is proposing, correct?
That's correct.
If you could render the planning testimony necessary with regards to the positive and negative criteria as it relates to the board.
Of course. With regards to the positive criteria, I found that the proposal advances the municipal purposes of zoning in 3 ways. It promotes the general welfare by restoring housing on a previously occupied lot. It enhances the visual character of the neighborhood through updated and high-quality architecture. And finally, makes efficient use of the land, infrastructure, and community resources by reinvesting in an existing property. I'd also go on to say that it maintains the single-family character and compatibility of the neighborhood. The increase in FAR allows for a moderate increase in square footage to meet modern living standards. With regards to the negative criteria? With regards to the negative criteria, there is no substantial detriment to the public good here. The reconstructed home will comply with all applicable codes, including modern fire, life safety, and energy standards. As the architect indicated, for all intents and purposes, the entire home is being brought up to current construction code standards. The proposed massing respects the neighborhood norms, again, as shown in A2, and will not adversely impact light, air, privacy, or views of adjoining properties. All the improvements are being completed within the existing envelope. We're also replacing the destroyed structure with a finished and maintained home that will stabilize surrounding property values and promote neighborhood continuity. There is also no substantial impairment to the zone plan or master plan. The Old Bridge Township Master Plan encourages reinvestment in aging housing stock, support for family housing, and maintaining community character. The FAR deviation is minor. It's tailored to the site by working within the existing building envelope and being consistent with the zone purpose and intent. The relief sought will not encourage overdevelopment as it is tied to a unique post-disaster recovery situation.
And because the house is remaining a 4-bedroom house, would you agree there's been no intensification of the use?
None at all.
Okay, and the continuation as a single-family home is consistent with the master plan for this zone, correct?
That's correct.
Do you have any additional planning testimony you'd like Mr. Feist to address?
No, I think he covered everything, and I just want to reiterate that when it's a D4, especially for some of the newer members, you look at the positive and the negative criteria. The key to this project is the footprint of the house is not changing. They're not adding a bedroom. So it's, I mean, visually, yes, the house is going to be larger than what it was before, but footprint-wise, building coverage-wise, it is going to remain the same. Also, you always look at, are there any negative impacts to the neighboring properties? I think one side of the property abuts the township-owned parcel, which is not going to be developed. So the neighbor is one of the neighbors is the Township of Old Bridge. So I don't see any visual negative impacts. The architectural, as you can see, is quite well done. So I don't have any additional comments.
Mr. Darcy?
I don't have anything for this witness either, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I'm going to start down on my left. Any of this witness? No questions? Come right down the line.
No questions.
Ms. Andrews. Counselor?
Just for clarity, the portion that's being modified is only the interior, correct? There's nothing being modified on the exterior?
That's correct.
Well, I mean, there's an addition going on.
There is an addition.
But the addition's already been improved, right? This
Yes,
is just
the addition
for,
was approved without living space.
Mhm.
So, as you see in the bottom of A2 in the bottom right-hand corner, that's what it looks like. That won't change.
thank you.
So I think to clarify, right, the addition was approved to be a non-habitable space, and because they had to come back, and it was a fire incident, so they were permitted to proceed with the condition that it is going to be uninhabitable, but they have to come to the board to convert it to habitable space, and that is why the applicant is in front of us.
Understood. I apologize for those watching and for those here. The pollen is killing me in the last 2 days.
We're all going through it.
Losing my voice, and I can't stop sneezing. And I finally did before I came here tonight, and I hope I can get through this. I don't have any particular questions. You don't have any other witnesses.
I have no other
My only comments would be, I'd ask one question. You know the age of the home?
It was built in the 1980s?
And that's common in those areas. Is there any HOA issues? No. None? They take no issue with. Counselor, I don't want to. I don't want to have the witness testifying from afar, but
She has been sworn, but.
no, I understand. But would you want to put on the record that there is no HOA issues to your understanding?
Are there any HOA issues that?
I don't know what the requirements are in there. In
None
that
that
area.
I'm aware of. We pay dues, we have common areas that are supported by.
To
the
your
board.
understanding, there's not.
Not at all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if something comes up in the further review. I don't know that we need it now. I know that some of those HOAs do just require a letter of no interest. I don't know if that particular in this country.
I mean, some of the aggressive ones would have seen the construction going on.
I'm
for the
sure that they
last-
would have made it a point.
And probably would have made it known beforehand, but,
One of the board members,
Just into the microphone.
one of our board members, I mean, we're friendly with all of our neighbors, and she lives, you could throw a stone to reach her house. And she's been inside, and she's actually seen what we're doing. She knows what the plans are, and she's very supportive. And she may come to you to do one for herself. She likes the idea.
you're wrong.
Thank you for that.
We got to give another 1%.
And we just want that on the record. So I'm going to go to a public portion in a moment, but I want to say I was impressed. A2 kind of tells the whole story, and that's why I asked about the age, because I see that everyone is improving over the years to more modern living, and it looks like they all stayed inside their footprint as well.
And I
So,
think because it's a kind of pie shape,
Yep.
had it been rectangular, it'd probably be about 15,000 square feet, and this wouldn't have triggered. It's just a unique shape.
no, but I can say it certainly looks by A3, A1, A2 and A1 certainly looks like it's consistent with that area. Having said that, can I go to public portion at this point, Counselor?
Certainly.
This is matter 35-2025Z. This is for restoration of a home after a fire requiring D variance. It's R30 zone. Anyone want to be heard in this matter, please raise your hand or stand. This will be the only opportunity for a public portion, so if it's now or not at all. All right. No one has responded, Counselor. No one has stood. I'm going to close the public portion. Final comments?
Briefly, by way of summation, I mean, this is every homeowner's nightmare, a fire, let alone one on Christmas Day. The changes to the house that you've heard do not change the footprint or the number of bedrooms, so there's no intensification of the use of the property. As you saw from Mr. Feist's exhibits, there are a number of homes in the development. Looks like 17 different ones that are depicted that have basically done the same thing as you indicated, Mr. Chairman. So I think what's proposed clearly fits in the neighborhood. It's not like you're driving down the street, besides the fact this is a dead end, and you'd see this big monstrosity that would ask you to say, that doesn't look appropriate. So I'd ask the board look favorably on the D4 variance and the existing C variance for front yard setback. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Is there any final questions or any misunderstandings that anybody wants to have reviewed? Yeah, I would add that, as I said, it seems to be consistent with the neighborhood. You're staying inside the footprint. There's no change to the zone plan, no change in the bedrooms use amounts, so I don't think there's any change in intensity. And obviously, people are trying to bring these up to the code and more modern-day standards. So I certainly don't have an issue with this. We'll see how the board reacts. We're seeking D4 on this, Counselor?
Yes.
Okay, there's no other bulk other than the pre-existing non-conforming, right?
Exactly, for the front yard setback.
Let's do the D4. Board members, 2.1 is allowed in the zone. This is .25, rounded up from 2.499. Anyone want to move this for approval, D4?
Izzo?
Is there- It's moved and second. Roll call, please, D4.
Who was second?
That was Ms. Andrews?
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Andrews?
Yes.
Ms. Gomez? Yes. Mr. Izzo?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Singh?
Yes.
Ms. Fernbach?
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan?
You know, most people probably would leave after a fire, probably bad thoughts, probably want to take a new lease on life. It's a credit that you want to stay, and as I said, we had one last month. Those people don't want to leave their land, and I appreciate that, living in the community myself, and the community appreciates that sense of community that you maintain. My vote is yes. You're probably a stronger person for that. Thank you very much. Counselor, that's approved. As to the, I guess we have to put the C on, right? It's pre-existing non-conforming front yard setback. Someone move it?
Izzo?
Second, please.
Andrews?
Same. Roll call, please.
Ms. Andrews?
Yes.
Ms. Gomez? Yes. Mr. Izzo?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Singh?
Yes.
Ms. Fernbach? Chairman Sullivan?
Yes, thank you for staying in the community.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Barlow, and your witnesses.
Yes.
I know I'm battling.
She need a break?
We're going to take a quick 5 minutes, so that's like 4.5. We'll take a recess at this time. We stand in recess. Thank you. All right, we've returned from recess. Ms. Porcelli, could we have a roll call?
Certainly. Ms. Andrews?
Present.
Ms. Gomez? Here. Mr. Izzo?
Here?
Ms. Spinelli?
Here.
Mr. Singh?
Here.
Ms. Fernbach?
Here.
Chairman Sullivan?
Here.
Mr. Macklin?
Here.
Ms. Sawant?
Here.
Mr. Dargy?
Present.
All right, I present our final application of the evening. This is 33-2024Z. Community Bible Fellowship Church. This is TCD zone, R40. It's block 14263, lot 9.12, 442 Cottrell Road. Major preliminary and final site plan with C and D variance. Applicant seeking, proposes to demolish existing structure on the property, construct a house of worship. Peter Clauser is representing, this is a continuation. Sir?
That is correct, Mr. Chairman. Peter Clauser with the firm Heilbron Pape for the record on behalf of the Community Bible Fellowship Church. We were here in October of last year, and we were at the end of a night, and we were able to present the operation testimony through Mr. Tisdale, who's sitting to my right, with regard to the church's hours of operation, number of persons. So that's all on the record. Just by way of a brief overview, the church has about 80 members. Obviously, the goal of any church, including this church, is to grow. They have services conducted once a week on Sunday mornings, contemporaneous with Sunday school, and then some smaller activities during the week from Bible study and youth groups and things like that, like any other normal church that you would see. Mr. Tisdale is here again because the church wanted to be clear that when they come into the community, they're not asking to take from the community, but they want to become part of the community and share their assets with the community. So Mr. Tisdale is going to talk to you a little bit about what the church does when it's a member of a community. And then I have Tom is our engineer, and he'll provide the engineering testimony. And then we have Gary, who's our architect who designed this beautiful building, and Gary will share with you his testimony. And then we have Frank to talk a little bit about traffic, and then Allison is here as our professional planner. The reason we're in front of the board is we're requesting primarily a height variance to allow the structure that the church seeks to have built in honor of their religion. And Gary will talk a little bit about that. Although we do have a height variance, it is a small portion of the building that actually exceeds the height. It's not the complete building. So if I could, I think it's best if we probably swear Richard in again, and then he has a statement he'd like to read, and I'll allow him to do that, and then we can move on to the professional testimony.
Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but so help you God?
I do.
Would you state your full name and spell your last?
Richard Tisdale, Tisdale.
And Richard, you are a member of the church?
I'm an elder of the church, yes.
And you have pretty much been my lead contact on this project for quite a while now.
Yes, I have.
Okay, so if you could just share with the board a little bit about what the church brings to the community when they come into the community.
Okay. Good evening, board members and Old Bridge professionals. Thank you for this opportunity to speak tonight. We appreciate your time and consideration. This evening, we also want you will be hearing from our architecture, our engineers, and addressing the site-specific and technical details of this project. But first, we would like to share with you, share who we are and how Community Bible Fellowship seek to come into Old Bridge. Not as a recipient of community resources, but as a partner and committed to serve alongside the township. Our approach is simple. We believe a church should add a measurable value to the community it enters. For 17 years, we have operated a tutoring initiative called Mentoring Our Kids Together. Acronym is MOSE, where certified teachers and volunteers support our students academically. Um, what makes this impactful is that many students that who takes the program, who receive the help from the program, returns as tutors, which creates circles and mentorship and long-term community investment. For 15 years, we've also hosted a backpack and school supply drive, providing students with tools they need to succeed. Recently, we expanded this effort to include new shoes, helping students to start the school year with both preparation and confidence. In addition to that, our members actively partnered with Synergy Family Foundation, where annually we have holiday drives at Mattawan Regional School. This effort has supported over 200 families each year, providing food, clothing, toys, and other essential resources. Our goal is always to support and strengthen existing community efforts. We have also contributed $30,000 to Mattawan Regional High School District CARES program, including $10,000 toward the community accessible outdoor track, demonstrating our commitment to investing and sharing resources and benefiting everyone. These efforts reflect a consistent pattern. We serve, we partner, and we invest while our work to date has been rooted in Aberdeen, Matterhorn's community. We are eager to listen and discover where we can be a greater service to Old Bridge. We don't come with all the answers. We come with a proven track record and a genuine desire to bring the same commitment to Old Bridge, to become a positive present, a reliable partner, and a resource to the community. We respectfully ask for your approval. We look forward to the opportunity to serve along with you and this community. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Richard. I don't have any questions with regard to Richard. I wanted to allow him to share the church's vision and goals with the board, but he's available if you have any questions. Otherwise, I have my next witness.
Mr. Tisdale, in a shorter version, give a briefing to the panel at the back. I'll ask if anybody wants them, has any questions about it. Coming down from my left, any board member have any questions for Mr. Tisdale? None? Nothing from the professionals. Thank you, Mr. Cloud.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
again.
Thank you.
We've been working together on this for so long, and I wanted to give him the opportunity to share with you who they are.
Absolutely.
It's a great group of people I've been working with. Tom, if you could come up and join me. Tom Olick is a professional engineer. He works with Bob Key's office. I believe that as part of this process, Tom was instrumental in the development of the stormwater management system on the site and is very familiar with the engineering plans that were prepared. And I think you're going to be pretty happy with his credentials.
Great. We'll put him under oath.
Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
State your full name and spell your last, please.
Thomas J. Olenek, Olenik.
So Tom, if you could just share with the board your credentials and your current license. I'm asking that Tom be accepted as a professional engineer to describe these plans to the board.
Yeah, I have a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering from Newark College of Engineering, a Master of Science in Civil Engineering from that same institute. a PhD in civil and environmental engineering from Rutgers
Be a
University.
PhD. I'll accept your expertise.
There's more.
Go ahead.
No.
You're on TV. Come on.
No, I've been a practicing consulting engineer for over 40 years, working with key engineering about that same time period. And I'm also an associate professor of civil and environmental engineering at New Jersey Institute of Technology, where I do teach stormwater management and site plan design.
Thank you. And that's, again, as I mentioned earlier, it's important for those people watching at home, maybe even some of the people here in the audience to know who you are. We appreciate that, and we accept your credentials.
So, Tom, we have up on the board, I suppose we need to mark that, because that is a rendering of the, I believe, landscape plan. So maybe that gets marked A1.
Landscape plan A1.
Yeah. And then, Tom, take it away. Could you talk a little bit about the existing conditions on the property, where we're located, and what we're proposing on the site?
Yeah, I've been on the property several times in its current state because we had to do some subsurface investigation for the soils for the eventual design of that pond that you see in the southeast corner. Obviously, the site's on Cottrell Road. There's an existing driveway along the northern part of the property that comes in, and there's existing structures, all of which are going to be taken down. And for the typical civil engineering project like this, it's a typical site plan. Utilities, of course, lighting, planning, stormwater management, and of course, traffic and those issues in architecture will be discussed by other professionals. So the site, as you can see, has two entrances, both two-way drives that come in with 2/3 of the parking in back of the building and 1/3 roughly in the front. And on the frontage there on Cottrell Road, there's a piece of green space that's going to be left alone. And then, as I mentioned, in the lower corner, you can see a detention pond that's going to serve as stormwater management, which is, of course, required, very common type design for this type of project.
Anybody have a laser? Okay, thank you.
And while we're paused, what was the date these were prepared?
Well, I'd have to look at the map because it's
10/22/25.
Thank you.
Or, excuse me, 10/2/25.
so, of course, there's many professionals involved in something
Just to
like.
orient the board, show them where Cottrell Road is. It's on the right
Oh,
side,
sure.
correct? Yeah, thanks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The trail is right here.
Thank you.
And of course, those are the two driveways coming in and a circulation plan around through the parking. Topographically, the site mainly drains towards the pond, which of course makes sense. There is a piece of land in the back that we're not going to touch right back here, which is heavily wooded. That'll be left alone. And right now, conveniently for our design, the topography is such of this piece of property that it's going to just drain the way it does. All this will, of course, drain off-site to an existing swale that's off our property. But as per modern stormwater management principles, we're going to be actually discharging less than comes off the site now. We are going to have water quality enhancements by using the inlets, part of the storm sewer system. There is no groundwater recharge here because the site is very dense clay. There's nothing that can be done about that. So again, that is the hardcore problems with this site is the stormwater management. The rest of it is a simple site plan involving topography, pavement, planting, lighting, all the things that you see on the plans.
Maybe take the board through a little bit of way the building is oriented and the entrance to the building.
Okay, there's two entrances to the building, right here, access right off to the parking, and in the rear, there's a handicap entrance here. So it's two access, very convenient for the parishioners to drop off people that are somewhat handicapped or need some assistance. And the finished grades of this site are very conducive to walking. It's not a very steep site at all. You're talking about probably slopes in a range of 2-3%. And the building is orientated in a sense as it faces the Cottrell Road. And I think with regard to the entrances and exits, since you have double on both sides, it's going to be very easy access. But again, that's not really my expertise. That'll come later.
And then what about, is there any signage proposed on site?
Yeah, there'll be some signage out in front.
And that's a monument sign to identify the church?
That's correct.
You could talk a little bit about the improvements along Cottrell Road and some of the waivers that we're seeking from some of the TCD district requirements.
Certainly. The improvements along the road are going to be, as shown on the site plan, there's going to be, some curbs, we have some storm drainage to deal with here, things like that. But essentially, the front of the site is going to be left fairly alone, other than the entrance construction that we need.
And then talk a little bit about the parking that is provided and what's required based on the number of seats.
Okay, yes, for a house of worship, the requirement is one space per 3 seats in the sanctuary, plus 1 space for each classroom. With a total of 262 seats and 5 classrooms, the required parking is 93 spaces. Our site provides 94 spaces, of course, that exceeds it by 1. There's ADA parking on the site as shown in the site plan, allow for easy access to the entrances. And there'll also be 4 level 2 charging stations for electrical vehicles as necessary, also shown on the site plan.
And then in addition to that, I think we have 5 make-ready spaces.
Yes, make ready as part of the EV chargings.
Okay. You talked a little bit about the landscaping on site. How about lighting? How are we lighting the site?
Well, the lighting is going to be according to the TCD standards, and there's a detail on our plan showing the type. It's not on this sheet. There's a lighting plan that's part of the submittal. And, of course, lighting is important. It's all going to be shielded so that none of the lights spill off onto the adjoining properties. Also mainly contained, of course, to the entrances and to the parking lots. But we are meeting the standard for the TCD.
We have a couple of reports that we received. Obviously, we received the larger report from Rakesh and Veena, and we've gone through them. There's no issues with complying with any of the technical requirements of those reports.
No, normally, of course, there's a very detailed report which we have received. We've gone through it. We see no issues whatsoever in meeting the requirements in those reports.
And we're not seeking any relief with regard to the stormwater regulations, parking, or the lighting requirements. We're going to comply with all of those standards.
That is correct.
Okay. And there's nothing, although it is what you've devoted your life to, there's nothing incredibly sexy to talk in front of the board about stormwater management, but we all know that there's very strict regulations from the DEP, which are followed by the township, and you're comfortable that the site can accommodate all of those regulations.
Yes, I am.
Okay. If you could take us through a little bit, we kind of have a list. I'm sorry, I want to back up. There's the fire review memo we received, which you know, Mr. Chair and board members, I always take very seriously, and we have complied with the striping and requirements of the firemen. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And then there was also a shade tree memo that Gary issued, and we'll work through that with him and comply with his requirements. That we don't need any relief there, as far as I've been told by my professionals.
Compliance with both the fire and with the conservation.
Yes, yeah, and I think the plans have already been amended to show the striping.
Thank you.
That was requested. So we're going to have Allison talk about the variances in more detail, but in order for Allison to do that, I need to get them on the record. So looking at the professional report, plus I know our notes that we prepared, if you could just take the board through the variances that are required, and then Gary, our architect, will talk in more detail about the height variance, and then obviously you've all heard Allison's testimony before. She'll take us through all of the variance relief in total, but I want to get it on the record.
So the variances are as listed here: minimum landscape area ratio, building height, parking requirements for the front parking spaces, parking lot landscaping, loading and unloading area, freestanding sign area and height, minimum buffer widths, and we're also asking for design waivers for street furniture and parking space size for a number of spaces that are 9 by 18.
Thank you. If I could, Mr. Chair, I know that the landscaped area ratio is 45%, or 65%. You know, they're decimals, but they're percentages. And then the height is 86 feet, where 35 feet is permitted. However, religious structures are allowed to be much taller at 50 feet, but then we exceed that. We got more to talk about with regard to that. And then there's technical requirements with your parking, which the parking islands and things like that are probably more applicable when we have larger strip centers and things like that. And again, the 9 by 8 parking spaces is a common request of this board when it's not a heavily trafficked area. So that's what's being requested. This is not an engineering heavy site. This is just follow all the rules, mostly stormwater management. We have a little bit of wetlands on the property, but we already have a permit from the DEP, so it's a non-issue. So Tom's available to answer any questions that you have.
Clear that there's no need to put the county in, because that section of
Oddly enough,
section of Cottrell is not.
it's all controlled by your engineer.
Stops at 520. Stops at 560.
Yep, yeah, and thank you for bringing that up, because the board probably thinks, Cottrell Road, County Road, but it's not. This is all under your jurisdiction in that area.
Right, and we agree.
Yes.
Mr. Dargy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't really have a whole lot of questions. Our memo, we did have two memos on this application. One was from the initial submission. It was dated June. I don't know the exact date, but it was in June. And the applicant did submit in August revised plans to address that memo, and then we produced an updated memo, which you should have. It's dated October 14th.
Yes.
And in that memo, you see a lot of the, and I won't cover the planning. It is a joint memo between my office and Vina's office. I'll let Vina handle the planning, because as Mr. Klauser said, engineering is not that sexy. Planning is, so I'll let Vina handle that. But the engineering portions have been addressed to a great extent. The outstanding items, I believe we can address as post-approval revisions to the plans. So I don't really have any concerns with that. I do have some questions just regarding the stormwater management, though. The concerns that I did have is there was no soil testing in the actual drainage basin. I believe that there was testing done. There's a geotechnical report from probably an earlier on in the process when the plans looked a little different. So there's no testing in the actual drainage basin, and there's quite a bit of topographic change. And then you have the wetlands pocket. It really, that's where the stormwater basin is going, because it's a low part of the property. Do you have any concerns as to whether this drainage design will function without any major modifications? The only reason I ask, and I'll just, before I let you answer that, the only reason I ask is it can be modified, but then at some point you get to a point where the modifications are significant enough where if there's changes to the site, you may be required to come back for an amended site plan approval, which, again, I don't want to approach that topic without actually seeing the revisions, but I'm asking you, in your opinion, whether you think the drainage design can be, our comments can be addressed without significant modifications to the actual layout.
The answer is yes, and the reason for that is originally we were thinking of having the detention pond in this area here, and that's where all our soil logs were dug. Then due to design changes, we decided to locate it over here because of the road access, things like that. We dug the heck out of this site, and we have a soils report to back that up. And of course, this area does contain a pocket of wetlands. The soils here are simply, in an engineering sense, are nasty, which means they're mostly clay and organic material. There is really no infiltration whatsoever here. So while we're certainly, probably because of the review letter, we're going to go out there and have to dig 2 more test pits just to satisfy the requirement. But as far as I'm concerned professionally, the pond here, it doesn't matter if the pond's here or there, it is in a better location now, given the way the site plan looks. So professionally speaking, I'm 100% confident that once we dig the soil logs, we will have no difference in the design of course, we're not relying upon infiltration for this particular design. The
Right.
pond is designed on a volume based upon calculations that will be more boring than the previous testimony just did. So, but since we're not, if we were requiring to use infiltration, or we had the ability, the pond would be smaller. So this pond is based upon the assumption that the soils are the same, but you are correct, we do have to prove it, but it's not gonna change the design.
Yeah, my only concern was the water table separation and things like that, but I guess, not to put words in your mouth, but your testimony is that the wetlands is really due to the fact that you have these heavy superficial soils, and it's not a groundwater condition that's causing the wetland pocket, it's surface water that's pooling and not having a place to go.
It is the surface water that's causing the wetlands.
I just wanted to get that on the record, but, so, given that, I don't think that there's, I don't have any other comments. There are quite a few details which, Mr. Clauser and Mr. Olenek, Dr. Olenek, already indicated that they're able to address, and I don't have any concerns as to whether we can do that. I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Mr. Dargy, next to the, I guess, west, below the pond there, is there a small swale with water that runs through there?
On our site?
Not on your site. Not on your site.
Next to our site, below the pond, there's a swale in there, oh, yes.
Okay. Yeah. And unfair to ask to you, but there was a brand-new home put in there. It's not finished completion. I don't know whether that sits lower or higher. Was any of that taken into consideration? It's almost done.
Yeah, as far as, so when you say take into consideration, from a stormwater standpoint, that home doesn't impact this property at all.
And vice versa.
And vice versa. Yeah, just to clarify, and Mr. Olenek can probably speak to this better than I, the discharge from this basin is actually tied directly into the stormwater piping in Cottrell Road. So the basin actually has a structure that will meter the water that it collects and discharge it into the drainage system in Cottrell Road directly to the pipe. And then the only time there would be discharge over land would be if the emergency spillway were to be activated, in which case that water would then also discharge to Cottrell Road and then go into the stormwater system or into that swale. But it wouldn't impact, at least I don't believe, based off of the information we have, that would impact that adjoining house.
Ms. Swan.
I'll hold off for Allison because I know there are a couple of variances, so I'll just wait for her to testify.
I'm going to start on the board members down to my left. None. Ms. Gomez?
I have a question. I don't know if this,
Microphone on?
yes,
Thank you.
I don't know if this is the right part. I'm concerned about the steeple, the top of the church.
I think that's going to be discussed.
That'll be our next witness, the
Okay, thank
architect.
you.
Thanks. Ms. Finelli? Vice Chair? None? Counselor? Back to you, Peter.
Thank you very much, Tom. You may be seated. And I'll ask Gary to come up and join us. Let's get you sworn. Have your credentials placed on the record. Gary is a professional architect, licensed, and that's what I'm asking for the board to accept him as.
Sir, would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Would you state your full name and spell your last, please?
My name is Gary Segal, S-E-G-A-L. I'm a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, and the Carolinas. I've been graduated from Pratt Institute with a bachelor in architecture about 40 years ago. Since then, I practice architecture, having an office in New Jersey. And I've been accepted as an expert by 22 other municipalities in New Jersey.
Figuring after 40 years of experience, you can't say no.
Thank you.
We certainly accept his credentials and his expertise.
Thank you.
Gary, Maureen is great at bringing up the different exhibits. If if you want to look at floor plans, you want to look at your elevations, but if you could just share with the board this beautiful building you designed, the reasons for its design, and a little bit about the interior layout.
Yes. All right. Approximately 2 years ago, I met the parisher, I met the board of trustees, and they had a project for this church before I was joining the team of design. And I'm glad to report today we rescued this building from being pretty much the look of, let's say, a long building with just a little peaked roof in the center and a cross in top. Pretty much like a Motel 6 with a cross in top. It was a long way, and I was blessed with clients, board of trustees, and the parishers, and everybody I worked with to be open-minded, and I promised to myself and to them to come up with a design where, first of all, the cross is not going to be just a simple decoration, but it's actually part of the building. And the same way, it's not just a simple object somewhere in this world. It is part of who we are and what we and how we feel and believe these days after 2,000 years. So I visited the site. I spent some good hours there. And I was actually looking into my background or previous experiences. I did few churches before, a few designs for house of worships. And I was kind of waiting to receive the light, to see what should be the design for this building. And I remember seeing myself on the side with my hands together, and then all of a sudden, I was just walking and my hands were in this position. I don't think I was praying, but then it hit me that all of us, we use this when we pray. We use this gesture. And I say all of us as a generality. I'm not here to analyze everybody's belief, religion, and so on, but as a generality, kind of, we all have this gesture. We definitely don't have a gesture like this, right? We actually keep our hands together, pointing up, sort of like an antenna, okay? And so I said to myself that this is something that I should incorporate in the concept. And I brought these drawings here. They are in scale. They are showing actually this steeple, how represents our hands together and pointing up. We don't know if we should necessarily point up, but that's the way we came up to believe. And we look up when we pray and we wish for some good things to happen. I don't think we look up and we pray for any bad things, pretty much some good things to happen. So anyway, I know we are all governed, and after 40 years of experience being an architect and a professional planner, I'm not testifying as a professional planner, it would be a conflict of interest. But that helped me to understand how my building will impact the neighborhood, the site, and so on. And as a parenthesis, I want to bring here to your attention that if today's rules and regulation and zoning and environmental protection and all this would have been applied out there in Pennsylvania, today we would not have a falling water house to admire by Frank Lloyd Wright. I consider also a mentor like all of us, the architects, being the guru of all of us. So we would not have. We would have to have a house designed at least 100 foot away from that brook or river. And probably the French would not have Eiffel Tower, who happens to have also some kind of a outline like this steeple, although a lot bigger. And many, many other buildings in this world, if we would apply all the zoning regulation and building codes and so on. So I started by designing this building to comply with the code and zoning regulation, and that's why the entire building I submit to you that is complying with the zoning regulation, the height and everything else. And I'm going to use my little pointer here. I don't know if you could see. Do you see my pointer? Mm-hmm. Okay. So the building up to the tangent of the roof, it's under the height limitation. And that goes for all the views. That particular in the right side is a rear elevation. The view next to it on the left side is a left side elevation. And far there in that corner, we have a bird's eye view. These days would be a drone eye view. But anyway, but the building is prepared to be coming in the world of the 21st century, not only with the look, but also with what we have inside and all the amenities and so on. And now I want to address the reason for which we are here, the steeple that is encroaching in the height limitation. First of all, I want all of us to be sure that we are seeing this element in scale in proportion with the entire site. So I'm going to actually use this site plan, landscape plan, where the building is here in the center. And I will invite you to imagine that I can move one of the trees. You see this round circles presenting the trees on the drawing. And is this coming with me, maybe? Yeah? Yeah? All right. All right. So I will take, as an exercise, one of these trees and put it here in the center of the building. That is the steeple. That is the proportion of this element of the building that is encroaching the height limitation compared with the entire site. And as we know, if we have a huge building in front of us, but we keep our hand, like here, let's say 2-3 feet in front of our eyes, it will cover a 20-story building. It's just because the effect of the tangent of our eye. So all these trees and all this landscape, it will cover a lot. That single element in the center of the building. And I kind of calculated as a approximation that this element is about the 10th part, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's the 10th part of this dimension, and it's about the 5th part of this dimension. So we learn in the geometry that if I take 10 times 5, it's 50. So this element is the 50th part of the building. So we are not here to ask the permission to take the contour of this building and go up to the height of the steeple. That will be unreasonable. I will not be the one to design that. But actually the center, our antenna, to be allowed to be higher than this building, and actually, is this transferring here? Yeah, great technology. So, so for us not to have a building, should you not approve this proposal, not to have a building that makes our hands to look like this when we pray, but to let us have a building that suggests that we can keep our hands like this when we pray. And I know we are governed by rules and regulation and very much AI explanations and so on. But still we come in that Sunday in the morning to this place to look for some subliminal message or some kind of feeling beyond this AI and all the other that I mentioned before. So you might figure by now, we the architects, we are only half like engineers. The other half of our heart is like an artist. So you heard me talking from both points of view. That's all I have to say on my own, but I'm ready to answer to any question.
Just before we jump to that, I think it's important that if we can bring up some of the floor plans, if you could just kind of just spell out how the interior of the church is laid out. I think the board's entitled to be able to see that.
So this is the basement plan, but I'm not gonna spend time with this. We're gonna go directly into the first floor.
All right, let's give Maureen a second to bring up that first floor elevation so the board can see it. And these are the plans that were submitted. So that should be basement. We can go past that.
Yeah, we can go ahead. Yeah, this is the first floor.
There we go.
Yeah. So with these soft forms here, we actually invite, pretty much again, I'm looking again to the hands of somebody who's embracing the visitor, inviting with this concave shape into the entrance. This is the entrance, main entrance. It is inspired actually from the old architecture, classic architecture of cathedrals, where you have this stepping elements and then a big double door and coming here into the heart of the building directly, rather than going through various vestibules and so on. So just few steps further is the auditorium, or I'll say the main sanctuary. And this sanctuary is actually designed to use natural light. And I'm gonna point here on the rear elevation where you see this light.
So let's mark that A2, rear elevation, colored rear elevation.
To understand a little bit what are those stripes of glass, I would invite you to look on the side view where you see that actually the roof is stepping down from the top, pretty much like big shingles, roof shingles, with some space in between, allowing for the glass to bring the natural light inside. Whether we may supplement this with some interior lights, that remains to be seen, depending on the activity that takes place in the sanctuary. On the right side, we have a dining hall for events that is subdividable for smaller events, and we have a number of computer classes. I mean, I might be sounding now like a dreamer, but we are down on earth and we teach computers so in this building. So we have the computer classes, we have the pastor's office and the meeting room, and administrative offices, bathrooms, preparation, kitchen area, and a stage, the backstage for some events, and exits as required by the fire department. So this is the first floor. I'm going to go and explain the mezzanine, or the second floor, which is a partial second floor, but we'll go back if you have any questions. And the mezzanine floor plan on page A4, if we can bring it up. Okay. I think we passed it. Yeah, no problem. This is the roof plan. Okay, so this is the mezzanine. Has a partial seating, pretty much like in a theater where you have a balcony, and a few other functions there for a studio, recording studios, and storage, and the staircase, and a small bathroom. And that's about it. The rest is actually a open to below area, below being open towards the sanctuary. So the sanctuary is a two-story space, gradually coming down to a one-story by the stage. It has functions also as a phonic reflection. So it is my guess, based on other projects I did and other good examples already done by others, that probably will have a very good sound propagation without artificial speakers and so on. But we'll see about that. These are the floor plans.
Yeah, Gary, that's great. That's what I wanted to share with the board. And I think just maybe briefly for the board's information, what do you expect to be sort of like the exterior materials that would be used, and maybe what you will end up in sort of a color scheme?
Right. We, as a color scheme, we're trying to be subdued. We're still gravitating between some palette of colors, as you could see in the right side renderings. We might be even in the gray tones, as you see on the rendering on the left side. The material are anodized aluminum for the roof, basically trying to be as much as possible maintenance-free. And some stone and stucco, eventually acrylic stucco, but it will be with a cementitious base. So needless to say, it's not going to be anything as those systems on styrofoam. That's out of questions. So these are the material, and there are some elements of design, as you see here on the steeple, where you see panels. It's pretty much as we would build piece by piece, and with all the struggles over the past 2,000 years that brought us where we are today. And that is the meaning of those petals on the roof. So the material, like I said, is aluminum and stone and energy conservation glass, e-glass and so on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I have no further questions for Gary. He's available to the board and your professionals for any questions you have.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I appreciate your patience. Yeah. Thank you.
I don't have any questions, Mr. Chairman.
I'm just trying to think, actually. So, I mean, I truly appreciate your efforts, the thought process, the sentiments behind the design, and I can relate to some of it because I have a background in architecture myself. But the issue comes with the zoning laws and the height, right? I was just looking at our township's ordinance, and Gary, I'm a fan of your work. I have seen your work
you. I know
elsewhere too. I like the modern take. Every time, and I know you'll take it as a compliment. Every time I see your work, it reminds me of Howard Rock from Fountainhead.
Oh my. Thank you.
So I understand the emotions and the design, the study of the architecture as well. But the issue comes with the height of the steeple. And in any of the zones in the township, the highest we have gone, and that too, it's the SD5 zone where nobody sees it. It's 65 feet. I have not seen any structure that goes up to 86 feet. And you saw it in my memo too, so you knew kind of what I'm going to say. That would be my concern, that once a structure that tall is allowed in the township, we're setting a precedent too. We have had other applications where similar requests were made, and we had asked them to work with us to shrink the height. And I do understand the concept of, having concave folded hands versus this when you want to get the height. But again, it sets a precedent, and it's a huge ask, the difference in the height from what is allowed. So I would have my concerns about it, and I don't know how the board feels. So I would just hold off.
Could I make a comment on your observation? As we all know, and being an expert to testify in many other municipalities, we all learn rule number 1. When you apply for a variance, do not mention some other example in the neighborhood or in the township that created the precedent of your application, saying, well, the neighbors across the street or somewhere, they got a variance, and now we are here asking for something.
That, I'm sorry to cut you off, but that is okay when you are a developer's professional. Me, as the planner who kind of oversees the land use and the ordinances, it is a valid comment or concern for me to make that, it sets a precedent, it breaks the usual character. So I would wait to hear back from Allison on the proofs, because I know she does an excellent job. So I want to hear her, maybe some of the buffering and landscaping, but still I don't know how you could justify that huge a variance. And so I would stop here and maybe have the board give.
I don't know if I mentioned, but part of the height, we have the actual cross of approximately 10 to 14 feet, which as a steeple or roof decoration, not pointing to the cross, but other roof decorations and steeples of the roof, from my experience, they are not considered into the height of the roof. Whether it's a real antenna, talking about these days we don't need any more antennas, but or a skylight or a sky dome or something like that, do not count into the height. We have 10 to 14 feet. I have to look, probably 14 feet is the actual cross. Still doesn't bring it to the 65. I wonder that 65, when was approved, how was considered as a precedent to the previous approvals?
No, that's not what I'm. It's not another church that had 65 feet. It's the tallest building in the township would not exceed 65 feet.
Yes,
That's what I'm
yes.
trying to say. So, and I have to go back and check because I know this board also approved St. Mary's Church where we had a similar discussion, but my recollection is that including the cross, it wasn't this high. There was some variance issued, so I have to go back and check the records. But I think we should get an idea of what
Thank
the
you,
board
Vina.
thinks. No problem.
Thank you.
Actually, it's a beautiful building, beautiful.
Thank you.
I just envision it where it is, and it's overtaking. It's not fitting in, and it's just gorgeous. If it was on 20 acres, I think it would be magnificent, but I'm just not sure about the lot size.
My drawing as an approximate view is not in scale perfectly, but I have to mention, and based on the edges of the asphalt shown there for parking, it's showing a view that ends here. This is the building. The view ends here and here. In other words, if I would have to show the entire site, the street is where is my hand. And the back of the property, it's about here. So I would say we should not judge as how much of the site is really overtaken by this building, considering that actually the site is from here, where the street is, and to the counter. So then you would see that actually one little needle here doesn't really make this building to be this high. The building is where it is, and if we eliminate this, we would have a building that doesn't require variance, but easily could be taken as a sport court or a arena or a gym or maybe a catering house. So the question is, in this evening, if we're gonna let it be a church without all the time that we know sticking a cross in top of a building now is a church. But actually the building here is the church because it incorporates this element.
I thank you for your comments. I would point out that we are able to locate, aside from the cross and the steeple, the building is located on the site in a manner where we do not require any setback relief from our from our side yards or our front yards. So that building does fit on the site, and we're not asking for a floor area ratio variance. We do have the square footage, but I appreciate your comments. I would just point that out, that, yeah, I think what draws the attention here is that spire.
My concern is the spire, as the steeple, I'm sorry. I find it a little too high. If you can work to bring it down a little bit, I'm all for praying, spirituality, and spirituality coming together to, I love your design of the church. I love the fact that people can come together as a unit. But my concern is just that steeple, that it has to come down some, because I find it excessive.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, I actually have a couple questions. Regarding the pews or the seats and that, how many seats are there in the bottom and the top? I guess, I don't know if they're pews, seats. I guess I'm asking the capacity of
We
the
have
building.
200
I could tell
at
you.
the bottom and 90.
The sanctuary is made up of 262 seats.
And the mezzanine?
That's all.
Oh, that's with it.
Yeah, I don't
Now,
have it broken
what
down.
about the dining hall? Because you said there's, I thought I saw tables and everything in there, so.
Yeah, the dining hall is less than a half seating. The seating
So
in the dining.
130? Like, how many seats are in the dining hall? Are you
Yeah,
planning on using in the dining hall?
I just think it's a flexible room, but there was a commitment from the applicant that no two things would happen at the same time, other
Okay,
than
that's
the
where I was
Sunday-
getting at, like,
No,
what-
I've learned this with religious uses, with fellowship halls. I have to have a commitment and a condition in the resolution that two things can't happen at once, because otherwise we blow up parking. The only thing that happens at the same time is the little kids go into Sunday school while the
That-
adults
yeah.
are in the thing. But we
Right,
do meet your
that's-
parking requirements, and I would completely agree to a condition that we can't have two things happening at once. There's not gonna be a wedding while there's church service.
Okay, okay.
Or
That was-
anything.
Right, that was
Yeah.
my concern, because it just looked massive if you had both areas.
No, the church buildings need to be
combined.
flexible.
Oh, no, I get why they're
but-
flexible,
yeah,
but you see where I'm getting at, where a lot
absolutely.
of them don't have that big to do.
Yeah,
I also just want to put on the record, I do also have a concern over the height of the cross.
Okay.
I totally get praying, I'm Catholic, I totally get the fact that there's a cross on the building and it's a church, but there is also neighbors. So, now you're putting this massive cross on a building. God forgive me, I'm not saying it's not warranted, but it has to also blend in with the neighborhood. That it's beautiful, and I totally get where it's coming from, but it's too massive for that neighborhood. And just on another note, which I think I know the question, but I just want to ask it anyway, is the cross going to be lit? Is there any lighting in the cross?
There is light designed to be inside the cross.
So the cross will be lit at
So
night?
the cross itself is not lit, but it projects out light in 3 directions: left, right, and up.
Okay.
Um,
That could
I-
be a concern, maybe when the lighting person comes up, because I don't know how that's gonna affect
I study
anything.
personally that part. Will not reach any of the neighboring properties because exactly the height is above.
But it will be glaring.
Will be glaring.
It'll be if you're a property that's across the street and you're looking
Yeah.
at this glaring
Now-
cross.
now the
So
gla-
that was
the-
my only concern.
Yeah, the glaring and the amount of light, it will be definitely adjusted not to raise any complaints in that direction. But definitely it's not gonna be a neon sign.
We also can put things on timers
Right, I'm just,
and
it's
find
just,
a reasonable
you
time
know,
at night
I'm
where
just trying to
that can
think
be
of if
turned off.
I live there across the street, and again, I'm Catholic, I
Yeah,
get
yeah.
across, I'm not, God forgive me, it's
You're
just.
bringing no smite with
No,
us.
I
It's
I
okay.
get the praying,
Yeah.
but I don't think God would mind if the steeple
Right.
was lower. That's all I'm saying.
I'm
He's
li-
more concerned with the people inside it than the height of the cross.
I am
So-
listening.
Would you be able maybe to give us a little bit of guidance talking about lower? Are we talking about becoming approvable if we lower it to match the 65 feet or the 70 feet or? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not in a rush to get to the finish line on that. I'd like to hear comments, and then, you know, I always work with your professionals, and we'll figure out a happy medium where I am delighted by the comments from that side of the board about how you like the church. I'm sure the church is, that's who he is here, is very glad to hear it. We're gonna make you happy. We're gonna figure it out.
Mr. Rizzo, Vina, what is, you said 50 feet? I need to mentally see numbers.
So what I was trying to say is that if you look at our zoning schedule for heights, right? The tallest we allow any structure is 65 feet. And that is allowed in the SD5 zone. I also know that one of the redevelopment plans that was written for a warehouse has 65 feet as the allowed height. However, that 65 feet was only allowed on one of the warehouse because it is enveloped by wetlands and transition areas, so that building won't be really seen from anywhere. It is in literally in the middle of wooded areas, so you won't see it. But that was 65. But that's what I was indicating, that 65 is what we have gone at the max. I don't know what other houses of worships have. I haven't done that analysis, and maybe if Peter is going to come back, the planner can do that analysis and come up with a height that is more acceptable, or that could blend in with the surrounding. I understand a height variance would be required because this is different. It's a house of worship, not a warehouse. But I think there has to be some rationale. The 85 seems to be significantly high. I also recollect that recently there was an application for a billboard that came in front of the same board where they were proposing a significantly high, I think that was 65 feet, and we made them lower it. So I think height has always been a concern of this board. So I think there has to be some little more thought given into the height of it.
I would like to make sure that we all understand the same. When you mention 65 feet for that particular building, I'm not applying this to our project, refers to the entire contour of the building, meaning that you have to imagine that, let's assume I comply with 65 feet, the entire building would be 65 feet, will be a lot worse, in my opinion, than one needle that's 85 in the center, and the building here, it's 15 feet. This line from here, the eave of the roof, is 15 feet.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but we get that. And that is why I even gave an example of the billboard, right? That there were concerns about, because here we are setting a precedent now. Once we approve a certain height, there is always a chance that somebody else comes in and asks for that height. So we have to be.
Cell phone towers.
Those are different.
President.
Those are completely. Those are
Harry, you're not winning this argument tonight.
I
Thank
mean,
you for your valiant effort. Your clients are very proud of you. Let's
go back to Mr. Rizzo.
Yeah.
So, and also, Peter, one more reason why I think we need to regroup as professionals is Rakesh and I have been talking about the roadway width, because now we're seeing that with the sidewalk and everything, the Cottrell Road is narrowing. I remember I sat in a pre-application meeting just yesterday where Nicole was asking them to give a dedication. I don't recall, because we had a meeting long back. I need some input, like we need some input from Nicole too, because this is, this side of Cottrell is ours, like Old Bridge Township is responsible for this side. beyond 527 is county. So we need to look at that, because maybe all your improvements might have to move on to your side of the property so that the road doesn't narrow
We can
in.
discuss that, yeah. Well,
Right.
We'll hook up with Rakesh and go through that.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I think maybe a technical review meeting to go over with your professionals and us, and we can brainstorm to see how much you could lower even the steeple, because because it's also, in a way, like Gary had explained, it's engineering too. I might say bring it down 20, but he might not be able to get that curve. So maybe having that meeting and sitting down and talking might be helpful, so that I can report back to the board too, that, this is what was discussed and these are the constraints.
Yeah, I think I'm very comfortable with getting to Frank and getting to Allison and then taking a pause and just sort of figure out where we're going. I completely understand the comments. There was a reason that I am here tonight asking for this. You got to ask. When God tells you, you ask. So I understand the board's concerns. I don't want you to think I'm being disrespectful by just saying I want this giant thing. I'm doing the best I can for my client, but we're listening. I want them to hear you. I'd like to finish up our testimony, and then we can decide where we're going to go.
So you're shooting up 85 feet?
The cross is 85, which is about 35 feet higher than what would be permitted.
That would be the top of the cross?
The cross, yeah.
And the cross is?
About
10 to
14 feet.
14
I think that's what
feet.
Gary testified to, yeah, about
So 14 feet for the cross. Standing in the street, if I look at the building, at the structure, the trees that would be in the front, they have a height?
If you are on the street and you are behind even the lower landscaping, shrubs, bushes, forget about the trees. That will cover the building about 80%.
A vanishing point. is what
Yes,
I'm trying to-
yes, because the parallax, the angle, you see, if we make a mistake on Earth for 0.0001 degree, we wouldn't reach the moon. We'll be lost in space by the time we get there. So this is exactly the angle of our view. My example is if you keep your hand in front, you will cover the whole room. Yeah, and it's just the size of the hand. So this particular staple will be lost in between the trees, the landscaping, partially not seen. Leave alone that, to my knowledge, is not a lot of walking on Cottrell. It's driving. I don't think anybody will even notice. And if we decide to lower this design by 20 feet, there will be no drivers to come to the building department or the zoning department and say, I appreciate.
Thank you.
He made me lose my.
Yeah, I know what he did. I know what he did.
Also, I would like to look in the room. I don't see too many neighbors really pissed from this.
Correct.
Use my,
That's where I was trying to go around next. So now you have trees, you have everything.
Yeah.
There's no
We
other-
believe it blends very well, but you're the zoning board.
That's it.
Good. What's the highest trees around the building?
The trees,
Yeah.
the height, somewhere around 40 feet.
Not as tall as the proposed steeple, right?
No. Although they may grow in time, but that we don't count on that.
According to the plan, the actual cross is 16.4.
I'm sorry?
16.4.
Is it? Okay.
And then your roof is 35, right?
Yes, yes.
So that, if you wanted 86, that leaves a difference of 51 feet to play with coming down. And suppose, I want you to just think a little bit about this. Suppose we were talking about the children
Yeah.
with smaller fingers.
Yeah.
They might appreciate, as well as the neighbors, bringing the cross down some.
Right.
Just a thought.
The question is on Golgotha Tower, Golgotha Hill, the hill of Golgotha, how many children were and how many adults were. You see?
Understood. And I hope you got what I was going.
Yeah.
The church that we were talking about, and Mr. Clauser may recall, I don't think it was yours. It was St. Raphael's on Old Amboy Road, and it was repurposed. It had been repurposed a couple times. It was a food market prior to that. St. Mary Raphael took that over, and they had a prominent cross that directed out onto Route 9 north. It would be on the northbound side. And that was, I believe, 50 foot atop that. So I think for commonality, and I know this is a particular, it's and I was mesmerized by his, and I said that. I think that there's some kind of middle ground that I'm hoping for the neighbors' sake, and I think just for, I don't know that it ruins the beauty of the building, bringing it down some. I think it's got a marvelous and a very appealing structure. The glass in the back, I don't know if you know, it faces west. I don't know if that was on purpose. It's west.
Yes, yes.
So the sun would come in after noontime. So I think you put a lot of thought into it, but I don't know that it would harm if perhaps there was some middle ground where that spire, the spire could be taken down. If you need that cross, and it's very prominent at, I guess, 16.4, perhaps the spire could be lowered.
I'll say I have only one concern, because it's sort of a statement you made with an exclamation sign and some little question mark at the end. I didn't give the punctuation. You did. You determined. I did. By you mentioning that, I don't know if this is gonna make a difference or it will be detrimental to the building. In my 40 years of experience, and I gained this ability to imagine the volume before I need to put it on the computer and rotate, and we all had this kind of examples in our life where we saw some kind of robotics about the volume of a particular building or a sculpture or something. And so I imagine this. Now, I have to point that it is quite spread. This building is not a small building. It's not a tall building, but it's spread. It's a sort of like a translation of a ranch house. It's not a two-story house, really. And I'm only afraid that just for us to be, how should I say, to be good in front of any neighbors that will come and will say, hey, you see, as a board, we lowered it. We brought it down. And I'm only afraid that we'll end up with a bump in top of a building. You know, a bump is because if I take this, okay. So actually, I'll go in this side. See, this is a large building. Let's imagine that we stop here, maybe here, and all of a sudden, we have some sort of like a irregularity in top of this building. What's in that top of the building? It's a cross. Yeah, it's a church. But the cross becomes, again, stuck there as almost quote-unquote decoration, is losing to be part of the building, to be part of the steeple. Because all the cathedrals that we know, and whoever crossed the pond and went back to the old Europe and visited, we know, and or if not from pictures and movies, we know that these cathedrals, they're very tall. One of the tallest is in Germany. It's somewhere about 200 meters. Now, for everybody to know, 200 meters means times 3. It's about 600 feet up, right? Built about 800 years ago. Yeah? We are in 21st century, and we are doubting that plus minus 20 feet will make the difference for the neighborhood.
Thank you, Gary. Understood.
Well, I agree that there are larger structures, sir. But the board doesn't make decisions because of affirmation from the neighbors. We make decisions based on the merits of the application. Ms. Andrews?
It's magnificent. It's an unbelievable, it's just beautiful. I happen to come from an area where we had a church in 1964, was built like the Vatican Pavilion. So I know, but unfortunately, it was not in a residential area. I'm afraid, quite honestly, the way I'm visualizing it, the only way I could see it, if you lower the height, is if you narrow it a bit. Because I think changing it from the way it looks here, I think you would lose a lot of the beauty of the building, because I call it steps to heaven, the way that you have it. I just think it's beautiful. Aside from that, I also wanted to know what else is on the second floor. Is there an elevator? How many staircases?
So the second floor is a small mezzanine seating for about a quarter of what is the capacity of the sanctuary on the first floor. It has some recording studios and other spaces which are not open to the public, but rather for administrative reasons, is the staircase, and we don't have an elevator for that area because all the barrier-free seating will be at the first floor.
I was just
Yeah.
thinking of it
Yeah.
because of the handicap.
Right.
Those people with.
Yeah, we will make sure we have, and we have actually designated, like in all the movie theaters, opera seating are at the first floor.
Also, there was supposed to be a school. I believe they had a school.
Yes.
There, and where would the classrooms
So
be? Is
at the
that where
first
the computer
floor,
room?
yeah, first
That would
floor and basement, but mainly first floor, we have a number of classrooms.
And what else is in the basement?
If we go down to the basement, we have a mechanical area, we have janitors, we have actually a lounge for kids. We have like a sort of a kids
Child
playroom, yeah, playroom area. There is a large unfinished area which we are not sure of what designation of use will be in the future. At this point, for financial reason, we leave it unfinished. And these are the areas. Now, I want to point that under the sanctuary, we have no basement. So the sanctuary, the auditorium, the sanctuary is on a slab. One reason is because the floor is slanted in such a way that you have a amphitheater feeling, and seating is much more comfortable if the floor is slanted. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Andrews.
Counselor?
Nothing for me. I just wanted to say, Peter, I don't know if you want to put your planner on, if the plans are subject to change. I don't know.
Yeah, let's, good point. I want to talk to my clients, but maybe we can get Frank up here. It's not really a traffic-heavy item, but we could probably knock him out pretty quick. And then if you give me, my usual 5 minutes or so, I'll figure out what I'm going to do.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you
sir.
very much.
She all right
You okay? You good? Okay.
So our next witness is Frank Miskovich. I think you might know him. He's our traffic engineer, but for posterity, we got to get him on the record.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your full name and spell your last.
It's Frank Miskovich, spelled M-I-S-K-O, V as in Victor, I-C-H. And
Just for the TV, tell them.
I will. Tough
No,
act.
you're frequent-
It's a difficult act to follow, what I
You're a
just
frequent-
listened to.
Either way, you're a frequent flyer here, so we know.
But I appreciate Dr. Olenek being from Newark College of Engineering, because I'm a '69 graduate of the college with a bachelor's in civil engineering, and I finished my master's at Newark College in Engineering, but they only had graduations once a year, so by the time it came around to the spring, it was NJIT. So, but I do have 50-plus years in the area of transportation, traffic, and highway engineering, and I've been before this board.
Thank you, Mr. Miskovich. Yes, you have. You've been here many, many times. We accept Mr. Miskovich's credentials and expertise.
After hearing NJIT for all of these years with all of my professionals, I did a campus tour with my daughter a couple of weeks ago because she's interested in architecture, and we went to NJIT. I finally know. It does exist.
NCE was right down the block from my high school, St. Benedict's, right down.
Oh, yeah.
Drive.
Good.
Frank, if you could just take them through your analysis of the site. Frank's been with us from the beginning and been providing guidance to the church.
Just a little bookkeeping item for the record. We did do a traffic report back in May of 24, I'm sorry. Your consultants review that, the traffic engineer and everything. They provided a report on June 25, 2025. And then I prepared a written response point by point to their traffic comments. I then submitted a supplementary report September 26th of 2025 that included all those comments that I did by separate letter. So that brings us up to date. I would also say I was involved with this project in 2013 when it was Grace Bible Church, and they were looking to build a much smaller facility, and that didn't go anywhere. So I've been in this area for a long time. And having said that, my observations of traffic conditions, roadway conditions in this section of Cottrell Road have not changed much in those years. Physically, it's the same as it was back then. And this is a municipal road. It's not a county road, even though we did get a county approval, which didn't have any traffic comments. So there were only maybe other relateds, but there was no traffic comments. To address that traffic impact, we did have a traffic machine put out on the roadway where we counted traffic for over a week at 15-minute intervals, and that was from 7 days at least. And the purpose of that is to determine not only the volumes, but when the peak periods were, when the morning, evening, weekday rush hours were, and where Sunday peak hours were for the church service. And why that is important, because it goes to speaking to the house of worship conditional use that is in your ordinance, which I'll get to in a minute. But there's only one service on Sunday morning, and believe it or not, that occurs while the peak traffic volume on Sunday is occurring. So there's no traffic in or out from the church during those periods. It's before that and it's after that, because there's about a 2.5-hour separation from the start of service to the end. There's a Bible study during the week, and they from about 6 or 7 to 7:30. The peak hours about 5 to 6. So people start coming in towards the end of that, but they're leaving much after the peak when volume is about 40% less. So it's not affecting the peak hour traffic on Cottrell Road to any significant extent. We projected traffic out several years to 2029. I had an open request to the township to determine what other developments are in that area that might add traffic to this particular area. There was a single-family house that was approved. That's not really a significant traffic generator. The only other project was the Cottrell development on corner 516 and Cottrell Road, the southeast corner, 37,000 plus square foot shopping center, which has not been built yet, but we included all that traffic into our projections. And to provide a conservative estimate for the board, we didn't look at them traffic coming for church service before the peak hour and after. I said, let's take all the traffic in and out during the 1 hour period when the volume on Cottrell Road is the highest. We did that for Sunday. We did that for the weekday Bible study. And I said, we have 2 driveways. The worst case is with one concentrated driveway. That would present the worst case scenario. We did it that way. The left turn in was level service A. We took A, very good, down to F, which is bad. Exiting movement was a level of service B. So there's very little delay for traffic exiting that service, even though we're the peak times. With the two driveways, obviously it's going to be less because it's separated. But I would point out that the driveways are about 200 feet separated. That's about 8 to 9 car lane separation, so there's good distance there. But I also looked at the driveway. The northerly driveway to the top of your picture is about the same location that's currently there, and it's opposite a driveway to a single-family home across the way. The southerly driveway is also aligned with a driveway opposite, on the opposite side. So there's really no headlight glare, if you will, during the winter hours, directly into those buildings. It's into, I would call it the service area of those buildings. So that works out very well. Your traffic consultant was concerned, do I need a left turn lane on Cottrell Road? So I took an analysis of that. We looked at the capacity analysis, say the estimates about a queue that would be for the left turn. The calculations show about one car at the particular time. That's not very high. But we also looked at, there's warrants that the New Jersey Department of Transportation uses, the county and basically everybody else in the state, that looks at opposing volumes and the volumes that are advancing, the left turn and the through volumes. I looked at that criteria, and again, it didn't show that a left turn lane was warranted. And when you consider it's only for short periods of time, really 2 days a week, that you have anything significant, it's not a real traffic impact. You heard about parking. We do comply with the parking requirement. The sanctuary is 200 seats. The balcony is 62. That 262, it requires 90, plus the 5, I should say, classrooms, requires 93 spaces. We have 94. If I were just to look, so we meet the ordinance requirement for parking. Ms. Spinelli, you had a concern with the fellowship hall with the Bible study and what that might be. There's 200 seats there. So even at full capacity, at that ratio, that's like 67 spaces needed. So we're still okay for that parking. And as was testified to and will be part of the record, is that those activities do not occur simultaneously. They're separated. So I do not see that creating a particular problem with the overlap. Yeah. The other condition I want to point out, your ordinance has a house of worship conditional use requirement. It requires that the volume to capacity on the roadway not exceed 0.8. We're at 0.1 with this traffic added. It will not increase peak hour volumes by 10%. The Bible study is about 6.4%, and that's at full capacity. It doesn't even affect the Sunday traffic because we're not even at the peak hour. Also, the level of service will not be reduced to level of service F. We're at A and B, so we far exceed that requirement. So all three conditions are met for your use variance, for the conditional use. And that was really me, all with the traffic. If there's any other questions that I can go into further, the board has, or your professionals.
I have no further questions, Frank, so he's all yours.
Yeah, sure. Would you just tell the board on the separate drivers, is one going to be in only and the other one out?
No, we're proposing those as two-way driveways. And when you think about that separation, anybody that's arriving from the south will use that southerly driveway and exit that way. If you're coming from the Cottrell of a 516 area, you'll use that north one. So it provides good separation.
Full service both drivers.
Yes.
Mr. Dark.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Mr. Miskovich mentioned, he actually did prepare a supplemental traffic assessment which addressed many of our comments, just about all of our comments with regard to the traffic assessment. So I don't have any questions regarding the traffic assessment. The only questions that I had is, Frank, were you involved at all with the actual site layout or anything like that, or really the accesses is what I'm talking about?
No, not really.
Okay. As far as site distance and everything, we asked for site triangles and all that. So
no, I was not involved with that, but I did check that myself. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I
did check that myself, and you have very good sight lines, both to the north and to the south, and I know it exceeded the requirements for the speed limit.
Right.
I just offhand don't remember that, but there was really no site obstructions.
You evaluated the site
Yes.
distance, and you feel it's adequate.
Yes, and if you want that, I can provide that information to you.
No, I think we asked for the site triangles to be shown on the plans, and Dr. Olenek agreed to do that, I imagine, through just the blanket agreement with our memo. So I think that'll be fine. But I just wanted to get your traffic engineer's opinion on that. The other question I had was with regard to the turn-in radii, and this is not in our memo, it's just something I noted looking at the plan. They're like 5-foot radii, which do you think that it would be beneficial to have maybe slightly larger radii at the accesses?
In this particular case, no.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is you got to look activity. If this was a lot of traffic in and out, a lot of parking maneuvers, then you would maybe want a little bit larger radius to make it easier. But you come for the service you're in, and you're gone, and there's really nothing for the rest of the day, for lack of better terminology. But
So you think that because given the volume that the 5 foot's sufficient?
I think the volume and the activity, and how long people really stay and all the parking maneuvers.
Because all the trips are either in all at once or out all at once?
Yes.
Okay, all right. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. I don't have any other questions.
I don't have any questions.
No, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, here's my 5-minute break, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Stand in recess, 5 minutes. We've returned from a brief recess. Ms. Porcelli, could we have a roll call, please?
Certainly. Mrs. Andrews?
Present.
Ms. Gomez? Here. Mr. Izzo?
Here.
Ms. Spinelli?
Here.
Mr. Singh?
Here.
Ms. Fernbach? Here. Chairman Sullivan?
Here.
Mr. Macklin?
Here.
Mr. Dargy?
Present.
Ms. Savant?
All right, we've turned back to 33, 2024Z, Community Bible Fellowship Church, and we just heard from their last witness for the evening, Mr. Miskovich. We'll go back to you, Mr. Klauser.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I think the board knows me at this point pretty well. I've listened to your comments very carefully. I believe that there is a middle ground that we can find. We made the effort to present the application to you as our desire. Now we have to figure out a way to make sure it works for everybody in the room. So I'm going to ask if the application, there's no point in putting Allison on, number one, timing-wise, and number two, you want your planner on when what we're asking for is complete. So I would ask that the board agree to carry the application to your next available meeting. We don't have a lot of heavy lifting to do here in order to make changes, and that it be carried without the requirement of further notice or publication. We do have a church here, and those notices cost lots of money. So if I could ask that it be carried, I'd appreciate it.
What do we have, Ms. Porcelli?
July 16th.
July 16th?
Yes,
That's what's next, yeah.
that's my next open.
Even if I promise them to be really quick? Okay.
I don't do the scheduling.
If that's... What's that?
I'm assuming you'll be really quick on July 16th. That's why you're on July 16th.
Okay. Listen, that's what it is.
We have to go to a public portion on this matter yet anyway.
Okay.
So you have anything you want to say before that?
No, no, not yet. No.
Okay.
No, no.
I'll give you time at the end of the public.
No, not even tonight.
Not even tonight?
No, no. Go to the public and let's all go home.
All right, thanks. And I want to thank all your professionals for their testimony tonight and yourself as well. This is matter 33-2024Z, Community Bible Fellowship Church, locations 442 Cottrell Road. We're going to open this up to public portion. The public portion, it means that you can come up and speak as to this application. You may have questions or concerns that you want to put on the record. Because this is quasi-judicial, you will be put under oath, and we would ask for your name and address. Anybody that wishes to speak on this, we're going to put a microphone up right here in the center. And if you raise your hand, I'll recognize each and every one of you as you stand. Anyone here have anything that they want to say tonight? Please raise your hand. There will be other public portions because we have another meeting on this. But anything tonight from anybody? Last call? I see none. In that case, I'll close the public portion for the evening. Back to you, Mr. Klauser.
Thank you. I would just ask that you announce the carrying of the application to July 16th, and we're good.
I will. This matter, 33-2024Z, Community Bible Fellowship Church, will be scheduled for July 16th. There will be no further notice on this if you're watching at home or if you have concern here. Please check the Township website. They're usually out 7 days. You can always look up in the Zoning Board of Adjustment. It lists the agenda and what will be on for the upcoming meeting, which is about 7 to 10 days out, correct? Ms. Purcell?
Yes, correct.
So please check that. Old Bridge Township, Zoning Board of Adjustment. Having said that, you have no final comments, Mr. Klauser?
No, not this evening, Your Honor.
All right. I want to thank everyone then again for their testimony. We look forward to seeing you again July 16th.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
All right, board members, we come to general public comments. Is anyone here in the room, while they take leave, does anyone here in the room have any general public comments that they want to bring before the board this evening on zoning board matters? None? All right, well, thank you. I'm going to close that, Mr. Macklin. I don't see any reason. Okay. No one has looked for that. Board members, our next meeting, Ms. Porcelli?
Bless you.
Our next meeting is April 30th.
April 30th, last, okay, yeah, we ran late this month because of the holidays, right?
Correct.
The religious holidays. All right, board, that's in 2 weeks then.
Correct.
All right, we'll have another meeting in April. I look forward to seeing everyone. What, you okay? All right. Someone want to move for an adjournment?
Move.
Is there a second? Mr. Rizzo, second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay? We stand adjourned.